Hello everyone, Brave Scooter here. Welcome back to more of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, the 3DS version. Last time, Destiny, something something Destiny, something something Manifold, something something Deku Tree, something something Vor. Great intro. Let's go with it. So the inside of Deku Tree, though it is a key dungeon, there are like optional dungeons within the game, but this is a key. This is the first key dungeon, and it's not gonna feel like it for a bit just because of how simple it's gonna be. But anyway. But hey, we get a new item. Sorry, I got caught up in the comment right away. So, there are two different kinds of Deku Scrubs, which I'm going to take a moment. I'm actually going to, with the new buttons, I'm going to take these Deku Nuts and put them on the touchscreen button, which I'm going to fail at pushing it. But Deku Nuts are, for lack of a better term, a flashbang. Okay, I'm trying to do it where... I'm trying to do the thing where... I'm trying to do a thing where like you hit the Deku Baba in just such a way where it goes rigid, and then you can cut it down to make another Deku stick. Like there's two different kinds of Deku Babas, and that's the second kind. I guess I'm just failing at showing that off. But hey, we have plenty of Deku Nuts now, which will help increasingly in more time. Anyway, look at all the vines growing on to make it a rough surface. Maybe you can climb it. Like let's not, because the vines also have this. I think. That does nothing. So the thing with this, well, before I show it off, let's show off a very key item that I guess has existed in Zelda games since their inception, except for the NES Zelda game, which was a black sheep and didn't have a map. But anyway, a dungeon map. Dungeon maps are helpful, and the bottom screen now becomes much more useful. But I think if you poke the bottom screen. Oh, you poke the map button, you can scroll through the map now and see the layout of the entire dungeon. Anyway, the Skulltulas on the wall. So here's the thing that you can do, but I'm not going to focus on it too much, is... if you climb the wall around them, you can climb the wall around them and kind of ignore them, but if you see them go purple, which I couldn't see that one going purple, if you see them go purple, that means they're going to chase you down. But if you stop moving, they will... leave you alone. It's basically like a stealth mission, but on the walls. Yes, he says, press the action button in front of the door. It's as I said before, it's context sensitive. Anyway, using your shield. Reflect a shot back at a Deku Scrub. Hi, how's it going?
Forgive me, mister. If you give me a tip, I'll let you go. If you jump and roll off a cliff, when you hold far, you'll roll on the ground when you land. You'll get hit from the fall.
Except you fall from, like... yeah, that part. Except if you fall from, like... a jump of, like, 3 stories. Like, a couple stories up, it's perfectly fine. You start jumping off of sheer cliff faces from, like, 30 feet up, I'm not going to guarantee your success. There's ways to still get around that, but you're not going to have that much success. Anyway. Push forward to win. And we get our first sub weapon that is like dungeon specific kind of thing. We get the slingshot, the fairy slingshot specifically. Now, even though it says you can use it, I'm going through these texts really quick, but I know it says how we can use, how it says we use Deku Nuts for our ammo. Even though we have Deku Nuts equipped, it's different Deku Nuts. Also, additional treasure chests are hiding around the area. I'm going to try and go for almost all these treasure chests, but I'm probably going to have the compass around to help me find it. Anyway. Puzzle solved. And I think this is actually kind of neat that they give you the slingshot in the first 3D Zelda game. Also, here's what the Deku Seeds are that you're looking for. To go act as your ammo. I do think it's really clever and a really good idea that for the first 3D Zelda game, they gave you a lot of perspective puzzles right out the gate, so that way you know what to expect going forward. Like, people will say maybe not so much in current year, but a lot of times. Oh, by the way, this will take care of the Skulltulas. People will say like in current age, a lot of Zelda games sometimes are a little ham-handed in their approach of, hey, here's how you're supposed to complete dungeons, dummy. This game was very subtle. Like, these earlier Zelda games were very subtle in how they did that kind of stuff. I also have a few things to gripe about because anybody from personal friend group will tell you that I have kind of personal gripe with this game. It's not a major thing. It's still a Legend of Zelda game, and it's still a good Legend of Zelda game. But I will still have gripes. Anyway. Oh, it's you. I believe this actually has our first instance of the extra collectible within these games that we can see here. Also, timer puzzles. There's various timer puzzles throughout the game. We'll be having fun with those. Anyway, compass. Compass are compi. I feel like I'm saying a very wrong word. Oh, I guess the horizontal slash works too. Anyway, let's see if I can draw this guy down. Anyway, do a jump attack to instantly KO things. That's the only thing I haven't talked about is you can jump around stuff. You can do jump. Oh, that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to jump attack at it. Anyway. But yeah, so you can jump attack at like curled up or like non-rigid Deku Babas. And they'll go rigid, and then you can use that in order to... You can use that rigidness to... Or you can use that to make them rigid and then get the item. Anyway, extra chest here, extra heart. But this right here is a golden Skulltula. I believe there is 100 of these in the game. I'm gonna... Maybe there's 120. I don't know. I don't have a... I told myself I was gonna pull up a checklist for this. Just to make sure I don't miss much. Although we will have to come, unless we do something perfect, we will have to come back later to get all of them in the tree. In the Great Deku Tree, but... Skulltulas are collectible. I believe on the gear screen we can see, yep, there's our tally. Now, if you're going for 100% like I'm going to unfortunately do, you'll want to keep tabs on that, but up to a point, it's basically every 10... There we go. For every 10 of those you get a reward at some point at a location. We'll see later on in the game. Anyway, what he did... Anyway, a couple things there, kind of catch up to what I said. Jump attack. So you can jump side to side in combat, you know, to dodge stuff, jump backwards and whatnot. If you don't push a direction or you push forward and press the A attack, you do a jump attack. It does double damage of whatever your weapon currently is that does it. And you can do it with any weapon. So, I believe... Somebody can correct me on the numbers, because I don't know what the numbers are. Kokiri Sword is one single unit of damage, so this is 2 units. The Deku Stick is... This is 2 units of damage, so this is 4. Anyway. And then the fact that it lit on fire, if you stand around long enough, you get the option to put it away. Basically, even if the Deku Stick is on fire and you put it away, you conserve the Deku Stick. If you don't, it burns up, and you lose the Deku Stick. But you can also lose the Deku Stick if you smack it against a wall or an enemy. Like I'm going to try and do here. Case in point. And that actually leads into something that interesting here. But first, jump down, aim for the center of the room, and break this web. So, the whole Deku Stick thing is... The whole Deku Stick thing kind of extends from something that I actually tried to do at one point with this, game. Like, back when everybody was doing a Let's Play of Ocarina of Time. I was going to do what I called a Berserker or Barbarian challenge to the game. Dang it, died too close. Can I hit it from here? Yes, I can. So normally, what the game wants you to do is you're supposed to come back to this. You're supposed to come back to this area when you have an item later on in the game and get this Skulltula, but with a properly timed jump, you can just get it anyway. I do remember where a couple of the Skulltulas are here in the tree. In fact, I think there's 4 inside this tree. But outside of the tree, I'm lost in a lot of them. Thanks. Anyway, I'm going to take a moment here and take care of this. Dang it, got too close. There we go. Because I want the extra Deku Stick. That's why that's there, to give you the extra Deku Stick. Because we need to... Actually, this is kind of hard to do in the original version of this game, but... Because the water was really cloudy in the original version of this game, so like seeing this, I didn't see it for the longest time. Then again, I was also a dumb kid who was very blunt about my puzzle solving. But basically, you want to use this strip of land to make your way across and light up the spider web across the way. But anyway, bringing up that thing I was talking about before. Also, we have to reflect a Deku Scrub bullet. Bringing up the thing I was talking about before is I wanted to do what was called the Berserker Challenge. Basically, no one-handed weapons, only two-handed weapons, which means I would bar myself to... I basically lock myself to using only the Deku Stick and a sword you get later on for my weapons. Nothing else. And a push game to shove, you know, unequipping my shield. Until I brought this idea forward to people, and they were like, dude, that's just the speedrun tech. And I was like, okay, well, that goes away. In fact, I even had like a whole very poorly created trailer for it, and people stopped me before I eventually put out like, that's the next project I'm doing.
Please forgive me. I'll never do that. I'll teach you something cool if you let me go. You'll never beat my brothers up ahead unless you punish them in the proper order. The order is 22, 3, 1. 23 is number 1. Do you think I'm a traitor?
Yes. Incredibly so. Anyway, shooting an eye switch. You may be the largest traitor known to plant kind. Is that a thing? Plant kind? After you get in the water, if you press down, hold on A, you can dive. Yeah, so this is kind of teaching you about diving mechanics and swimming mechanics, aka the lack of swimming mechanics, and that all you have for swimming is this dive, and the number you see on the side there is basically how far you can dive down before the game is gonna force you to go back up. So you have some movement, you have like some freedom when you're diving, but not a whole lot. Anyway, duck under this by holding the shield button, and then this. Alright, would you like to turn around so I can see your butt? Stand next to a block and press and hold it with A. While holding A, you can push and pull it. If you stand next to the block and press A while pressing towards the block, you can climb on top of it. Again, she says pay attention to the action button. Context sensitive button. So basically, if you press a button, if you face a block and just smash your face up against it, you'll more likely get the grab command. Like this. If you keep pushing into the block, eventually it'll change to a climb command. I'm kind of glad that in a game such as Wind Waker, they changed that to basically the shoulder button to be like, hey! They just basically straight up changed it to the shoulder button to distinct between climb and grab. Hold on, I want to look around here, because this stuff on the walls doesn't have me very easy right now. Oh, it respawned. Okay, that's fine. They want to make sure you have plenty of Deku sticks for this, because you basically have to light torches. Actually, thinking back on it, I think there is one... No, I'm thinking of a different dungeon. Never mind. So I'm pretty sure you can get everything in this dungeon if you focus hard. No, I don't think so. Actually, we do have to come back at a later point. Oh, oh boy, back up. So even though it's facing away with us, we didn't get a jump on it. If you hit the front of those, if you hit the front of I can't think properly apparently. If you hit the front of a giant Skulltula, be prepared to double back on yourself. I burned up my stick. It took too long. Also, yeah, okay, you can see it there, but let me get a better view. Be careful how long you spend in this room, because those enemies that you normally never see whenever you play this game, if you just like running through this game full force, even like I did, like I didn't even know these enemies existed until I saw other people doing Let's Plays and playthroughs of this game. These spawn Goma babies. And they're not very hard enemies, but we'll see plenty of them in the coming future. Anyway, that net I burned up across the way. over there. We can't do what's beyond that for a little bit because we need an item from a future dungeon. So we will have to come back here for full completion of this dungeon. But that doesn't stop us from getting a majority of what's in this dungeon. Now I believe in here. Is that a proper? Is that just a? Nope, that's a proper one. So just in case you screw up anything, you're gonna want to push this down. Although I think how speedruns do it, is they get this block about here, and then they climb on top of this block. They pull a stick out and they run towards this lantern with the stick out to get the fire they need for the next part coming up. But we're doing it by the game's intended purpose. But speaking of game intended purposes, something I want to bring up now, like in this first recording session, because this is a possibility, something I can do, but I want to make sure people are on board with it before I go forward with it, is roll. There we go. Oh, I didn't put it away in time. Is in this is one of the major this is one of the key differences with the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time compared to any other version. Is packaged within this game is the Master Quest mode of the game. It doesn't change up anything. It doesn't change up anything with the overworld map that we'll see in due time. It won't change up anything with the overworld map and exploration, I'm fairly certain. But any dungeons and sub-dungeons in this game are changed a lot to be more difficult versions. So, tell me now, and I'm going to bring this up next episode at the start instead of at the end of an episode for those who don't only watch like the first 5 minutes. Tell me now, do you want a bonus series at the end of this series that's basically just the Master Mode stuff? I will probably not go for 100% in that Master Mode stuff for the Master Mode, just so I can get through quicker. Anyway. But this is your time to tell me now if you want this. Alright, anyway. So remember that what that one Deku script told us a while ago. 23 is number 1. So from left to right, you want to stun number 2, number 3, and number 1. Oh, and then you guys chase down number 1.
How'd you know a secret? How irritating. It's so annoying that I'm going to reveal a secret to Queen Goma to you. In order to administer the coup de grace, Queen Goma strike with your sword when she's stunned. Oh, Queenie. Sorry about that.
But yeah, that's literally it. It's that little sequence is basically, along with it's dangerous to go alone and it's a secret to everyone, is kind of ingrained in the Zelda series as like a very famous quote from the series. Now I'm going to cut things a little bit short here today because I know what's coming up. So we will go into the room next door to face off against Queen Goma. But I do want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode. And come back next time. We'll face off against Queen Goma and get very plot heavy. I'll see you folks next time. Take care.